room today when the new man at the Big Ten was introduced, coming back with more.
The weather's heating up, which means it's the perfect time to get that next job done. At AutoZone, we have the free services you need to do it right. Like our AutoZone Rewards program. Sign up is free, and you get a $20 reward every time you spend $20 or more 5 times. Looking to protect your engine and start that oil change? Get 5 quarts of Castrol GTX high-mileage motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $26.99. With more than 5,600 locations nationwide, getting the job done just got easier. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Don't attempt stunt per trade in this commercial. We have 2 skydivers about to jump from 10,000 feet above this sports stadium. The first jumper has a parachute harness attached with JB Weld epoxy adhesive.
Geronimo!
The second jumper's harness is attached with ordinary household glue. Wait, what? Geronimo! Ah! Don't worry, he has a backup chute. When strength really matters, don't glue it, JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. In the Stanley Cup Finals, St. Louis is able to get Game 4 at home to tie this series up at 2 games apiece with a 4-2 victory. They will be heading back to Boston coming up on Thursday, June 4th. It's Game 5 of this series, best of 7 series, and this is a great series so far. For the NBA Finals, they'll be back underway from Golden State. The Bay Area will be hosting Game 3 coming up on Wednesday night. Tip-off expected to get underway at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. For Major League Baseball, it looks like the Chicago Cubs have taken care of the LA Angels by a final score of 8-1. And for your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, some fireworks at Wahoo Stadium as your Wahoos are victorious in a walk-off fashion by a final score of 8-7. Coming up next, it's Game 4 of the 5-game series against Jacksonville. Chris Garagiola will have the call coming up later on this evening at 6:35. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Hottest in the game, ain't nothing to it. World class, I'm a gutter butter rest.
Now that Human Resources Director Fernando Pino has Kronos for HR, payroll, talent, and time, he's completely crushing it. He even has his own hype song.
Hottest in the game, ain't nothing to it. World class, I am.
Supporting our entire workforce. Everyone has different hours, skill sets, and pay grades.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. Now we are
Motivating and engaging our people every step of the way.
blast off to the front of the field. This is
Kronos, HR solutions for the modern workforce and the people who support them. Learn more at kronos.com/HR swagger.
I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top, I'm gonna rise up. I'm on the top.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and ESPNpensacola.com.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 945.
Toward the final hour. Let's grab another call or two here as we wrap up hour number 3. Elmo is up next. Good afternoon, Elmo.
Well, Paul, what's happening, guy?
Doing great. Nice of you to call.
Yeah, just want to talk about these prohibitionists that's been calling the show. Look at the fine print, folks. Oh, before I get into my sermon, Paul, I went down to the Little Professor in Homewood today and bought the Rada book.
Yes.
And I'm going to read it. And when I get through reading it, I'm going to call you back, and we're going to have a good talking about local television. But anyway.
I have read it. It's a very interesting book.
I'm eagerly looking forward to it. It needs to be pointed out that Fred is a lay preacher, right? And he calls in this show and he says serving alcohol is going to ruin football. Blah 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 blah. And then the other guy that called from Florida, it's going to upset the family atmosphere at the game. And stuff like that just makes me want to puke. Because family atmosphere, I mean, probably these same people would want to outlaw tailgating. I mean, it's ridiculous, Paul. And look at the fine print, Fred, and this other cat down in Florida. You can only buy one beer at a time. And guess what, folks? I know that the line will be something like 2 city blocks. So let's just say a guy buys a beer. Only one beer at a time, Paul. And he goes drinks that. He has to go back and stand in that monster line again to get him another one. So by the time he gets legally drunk, which I suspect it'll be all watered down type beer anyway, after 3 or 4 pops and he's missed half the game, is that what they're really worried about? So, Paul, it's all so stupid. People have been drinking at the football games forever. It's called a half pint.
No, Elmo, thank you. I hate to run, but we were at the heart out here. Thank you. We'll continue this conversation shortly.
When it comes to the playoffs, coverage is everything. The same applies to the wireless game. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get full nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks, but for up to 50% less than those big carriers charge for the exact same high-speed networks. It's like getting full-court coverage at half-court prices. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data for just $45 a month, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
My name is Brandon. I am a manager of tire sales at Firestone Complete Auto Care. When you come here to get service, we're going to take care of your car because you take care of your car is going to take care of you.
Come in for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Epic Sales Event and save $100 when you spend $500 or more. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Valid June 6th through June 9th. Exclusions apply. Not be combined with other offers. Additional fees may apply where lawful. See store for details.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and are behind on your monthly payments, you need to make this free call right now. 800-428-4187. When you call the Stop Debt Hotline, you're taking the first steps for help. Debt specialists are part of a real team who will help you with all of your options. You could stop the collection calls and letters forever by calling the completely confidential toll-free number right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can handle your debt forever. Imagine no more late nights and no more debt. Don't try to face your creditors alone. Call the Stop Debt Hotline right now. 800-428-4187. 800-428-4187. Get free information now by calling the Stop Debt Hotline. 800-428-4187. Non-attorney spokesperson paid for by Debt Resolution Helpline. 102 Northeast 2nd Street, number 183, Boca Raton, Florida, 33432.
1033, home invasion, 3 detained.
Description.
Mouse, female, spreading disease, contaminating food.
Copy that.
Termite, male, property damage.
Go ahead.
Stinging insect, male, triggered allergic reaction, major health risk.
Pests like mice, cockroaches, termites, and stinging insects pose real health and property risks. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. That's PEST world.org.
A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to Legendary Fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
Welcome to Mo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the Mo's food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. You know, snap. All your friends are gonna be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is gonna be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Mo's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Mo's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. In the Stanley Cup Finals, St. Louis is able to get Game 4 at home to tie this series up at 2 games apiece with a 4-2 victory. They will be heading back to Boston coming up on Thursday, June 4th. It's Game 5 of this series, best of 7 series, and this is a great series so far. For the NBA Finals, they'll be back underway from Golden State. The Bay Area will be hosting Game 3 coming up on Wednesday night. Tip-off expected to get underway at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. For Major League Baseball, it looks like the Chicago Cubs have taken care of the LA Angels by a final score of 8-1. And for your Pensacola Blue Wahoos, some fireworks at Wahoo Stadium as your Wahoos are victorious in a walk-off fashion by a final score of 8-7. Coming up next, it's Game 4 of the 5-game series against Jacksonville. Chris Garjola will have the call coming up later on this evening at 6:35. I'm Jordan Glass with your sports update on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper! Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the catch at the 40, at the 40, Derek Brooks Brooks 30, Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That's back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell. The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that?
Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end call. That opens up the door. Breaking the Cambridge tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. And Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brillante. Thanks for joining us here as we broadcast with Andrew McKay here, having some fun on this Tuesday evening. A lot to get to on today's show. We're going to talk a little NBA Finals getting set to go as it heads back to Golden State. I saw a picture today. Somebody sent me a couple of these pictures. If the guys were in the 70s, it would have been one of these kind of things. It would have been hilarious.
I don't want to see Steph Curry with a Jerry curl.
No.
I don't know.
No. I mean, and it was hilarious, though, to look at some of the things going on when it comes down to a lot of the different players. And I'm going to show you this real quick. But, yeah, look how classic some of these were. Just flip through these real quick and then come back and we'll share in laughter here. But it did all of the players.
I thought it was Patrick Ewing at first.
Yeah, I was going to say Kevin Durant's was the best by far, though. Kevin Durant's just full out looks ridiculous with the vaulting. And we're going to show these. We'll get them over to Blab TV tomorrow. I just got them like right before the show, and it takes a little while for production, so I'll make sure to get them over there.
Like Klay Thompson.
These are classic. These are classic. You could be like a hand model for QVC here for Blab if you want to walk up there and show the people. But these are ridiculous, and they're hilarious too. But my favorite, the one with Pascal Siakam's pretty good too. He looks like one of those kind of guys.
Looks like Karl Malone. Like it's ridiculous how some of these actually look like old NBA players.
Marc Gasol looks like a real 70s player at the end.
But seriously, I mean,
Kevin Durant. Yeah, if we can get these, let's see if this works here. Okay, there's the Kevin Durant. You're getting a little of that right now.
There we go.
Okay, I think they got us.
Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
there you go.
That's the best.
But that's the best. Classic looks right here. But the NBA Finals, I think it's going to be a good one. I think what we saw was both teams are competitive. Without Kevin Durant, it sort of equals the balance. But, I think we just want to see something go deep.
Right, yeah. And yeah. We're not talking
Macaulay
like Kevin
Shark
Durant's
weekend.
hairline in that picture, yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. But in this case, I think that it's going to be a good series, and I think it is going to go. I said at the beginning, and I think I'm going to stick to it right here, Golden State in 6.
I think I'll stick to that as well. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it. I said Golden State. I'm going to stick with Golden State. I'm going to actually go Golden State in 7, though. I think this is going to be a full series. Toronto is playing a lot better than what I thought they would in this series. They honestly, you can make the argument they should be up 2-0 in this series, but a close 5-point loss at home.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be able to my whole thing for this series was, could they win in Golden State? I think they're able to now with the way that they're playing. If they don't let off the gas pedal any, and they can still play that at that high level and not get fouls called on them and all those things like that happen at Golden State, if that can happen, then this game can go, or this series can go 7 games.
Well, and also what we're finding out is Kevin Durant is out for Game 3, and Klay Thompson could be out for Game 3. And if that's the case, Steph Curry's just adding to what is, he is the most, I guess you could say, game changer type player that you have right now in the NBA. Is he the best? No. He's not the kind of guy that can take over defensively, things like that. But if you're down by 12 points, there is nobody better to have Steph Curry that could get you right back. They went on a 20-0 run like that.
He's a Percy Harvin. Did Percy ever get considered for a Heisman? No, but he was a game-changing player. You know, he could come in and make a play for Florida, and that's kind of what Steph Curry's like.
College version. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you. I'm
going to go Michael.
Go Michael Vick maybe. Michael Vick maybe.
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick in Virginia Tech. You know, that's more of a fair. Not the dogs and things like that. Who let the dogs out?
I was trying to go a little more recent for our younger listeners.
I'm just saying, like, Michael Vick with the football could change a lot of things.
That's true.
You know,
that is true.
But if it came down to Percy Harvin, or as Corinne Brown would say, Pussy Harvey, Percy Harvey could only do so much. He could only go Gator right there. Irving Myers, Timothy TiVo. Those guys can only do so much to change the game. But I think the thing about a guy like Percy Harvin is he could only touch it so much. But he was a game changer. With one big play, Ted Ginn, when he was at guys like that, Rocket Ishmael. There were some guys, Desmond Howards, that could change it. Charles Woodson, they could change the game with one big play. Ed Reed was like that. But at the same time, you know, Steph Curry can do that throughout the course of a basketball game. But if you have Klay Thompson and you have Kevin Durant out, say what you want about Boogie Cousins and Draymond Green. They're not offensive warriors right now.
Right.
And no pun intended. I really did not mean to make a pun, actually, when I usually do use corny puns. But that one right there, you talk about a guy like Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is the sharpshooter that goes along with him.
Right.
Klay Thompson was actually better than Steph Curry for most of that game in Game 2. So in this case, you know, I think if he can go out there and win, which they're a 5.5-point favorite without these guys, it just adds to the legacy of what is Klay Thompson and what he can get done. I was trying to pull up a story right here about NCAA baseball on my iPad that is hidden behind my this that does not work, my computer that is still broken.
Giving away all the secrets,
That's exactly. Yeah. So a computer, it's like one of those, you know, those little things like back in Christmas where it's the big Santa, and then the little Santa, and then the smaller Santa.
The Russian dolls. Yeah.
I should put the T. People on radio are like, what the heck are they talking? But, so I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden, Dark Phoenix just took over my computer. And this isn't a virus. That does sound like a virus that you need to get checked. Dark Phoenix, the movie, in theaters Friday, by the way. But you look right now at what's going on in NCAA baseball. Mike Martin's team goes out there, and they dominate. 3 games, 35 runs, and just show up in fuego. About as good as it gets. And this was a team that barely got into the tournament. It would just be a perfect storybook ending to what a great career already the NCAA all-time winningest coach to go out there and get it done in a year. And baseball is a sport you can do that in a year that not a lot of people expected it to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. This is a team that they're playing hot at the right time, and they're a team that can legitimately – they have the talent to make a deep run into Omaha if they can get through the Super Regional. So we'll see what happens with Mike Martin and this Florida State baseball team. It would be a nice story. Even as a Florida fan looking at this, it would be a nice story to see Mike Martin win a College World Series, his very last game be a national championship clinching game.
How do you not click on this article? There's some clickbait stories, and this one sells itself.
Right.
How Bob Marley's daughter saved Jamaican women's soccer. Did you see that? That's the front page right now on ESPN. How do you pass that as a sports fan? Like, I don't care about this.
Click on it. You're going to spoil tomorrow's episode of Talk Football.
Yeah, I actually clicked on it, and all of a sudden it went into we jamming, and all of a sudden it's a link to his best songs. But no, that would be the best one, I'm telling you. How Bob Marley's daughter saved Jamaican women's soccer, and how Irv Blitzer, a.k.a. John Candy, saved bobsledding for the Jamaican team as well right there, getting it done. But I'm telling you, that is pretty cool. Apparently Bob Marley's daughter has been smoking all over the course out there. So she's taking care of business.
Looking to a high level. Yeah.
That's a very high. I mean, the other teams just up in smoke. You look right now at some of the things we talked about yesterday in sports, the fandom, to be great fans of what's going on. And one of the things that we talked about was Bluetooth mall guy is always one that seems to okay. I'm not sure if he knows we're on TV.
No, I don't think he does.
Now that we're in a radio studio, sometimes I'm not 100% sure if people know. Let's go to that other shot real quick so we can get this. Can we go to that the bigger shot real quick so we can get the full pan? The other one? Let's not that one.
Oh, no, okay.
This one. There we. Oh, getting that. Okay, there we go. So let's just keep it on this shot for a little while. Let's see if anyone knows this. But when it comes down to the third down guy in football games is always one that sort of, all right, it's third down, let's make some noise, stands up and, gets excited over something big happening. How about the homer that no matter what you say, it's an insult to his team? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be, their team could be 1-11. And you're like, man, they're just not having a good season. What, you talking about my Eagles? Shut up, man. What is your team? I'm like, with the Patriots? Man, shut up again, bro. You guys cheat. Bunch of cheetahs out there. Like, actually, we're not cats, sir. In this case, I think the third down guy is somebody, if you had to compare, third down guy that stands up before everybody or the guy that the homer, no matter what you say is an insult, which one annoys you more?
I'm going to go with the homer. Just every little thing annoys him. I mean, you can even say something that's actually a compliment. He can get annoyed by that. So I think the guy that's standing up on third down just trying to cheer his team on, I think that's just a fan being a fan. So I'm going to allow that.
We'll go back to the other shot here to get. Thanks, Lyle, for making a cameo. Brian Henry, our sports the sports SID over at UWF, does a great job, and it's always great to have Brian involved. He said that the soccer star Denisha Blackwood, also from UWF, plays on the Jamaican national team.
Wow, how about that?
So how about that? That's pretty cool. Okay. Well, women's soccer is about as good as it gets when it comes to stars at UWF. What Coach Bart Linsky has done, he's a great guy too. I've had all the UWF coaches on before, but he's one of the best interviews. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you could probably have afterwards, have a game. It's like the bar cheers, everybody knows your name, and have some fun, and it's a good time. And we laughed at about 4 or 5 different jokes, and even if my jokes weren't funny, he still laughed, which I appreciate that. But Coach Bart Linsky's done an incredible job. They started the season 21-0 last year, and I remember Denisha was a big part of that. So good to see that she's on that team with Jamaican Me Crazy right there with Bob Marley's daughter. How about that? So
there you go.
That's I'm just referencing the song. Okay. Let's not guys. Very insulting to their. No, listen. I am, but not at that point. Looking the first city team at the Chinese buffet, maybe. But okay, let's move on here to some of the other things going on in the world of sports. Well, the NFL has talked about the possibility of not having 4 games in the preseason. And I think that even though this is going to change the outcome of the NFL, I think it's a good thing because it would be nice to me if we went away from less preseason games and started to focus on the things that people are going to watch. Look, everything comes down to revenue. And when you talk about sports, same thing with college football. When everybody celebrated, they gave us 2 more games for the college football playoff. Yeah, that's how we all yelled. The difference was they did it because they made $500 million off it. It was $500 million of revenue. Now, college football, if they went to 8, UCF Knights fans would be happy. We don't have to celebrate fake national titles. At the same time, it would make more money. It would generate more, and it wouldn't take away what makes college football so sacred. The one thing that makes college football different than any other sport is it's the only sport left, the only sport, that if you lose a game, your season could be over. No other sport has that. Baseball, you watch your team get up there and get clown swept by a team, 38-3 in a 4-game series. And if your team gets hot at the right time, they can go all the way. Justin Turner, as I've said, the only man that is a full-size Major League Baseball leprechaun. Justin Turner Justin Turner's a great guy. He played out there, and he also he gives the kid gold if you find the rainbow. But he's out there. Just don't eat his Lucky Charms. He goes out there, and he dominates for a whole season. He was actually up for the MVP. He was batting .347. At that point, he gets hurt, and they lost 17 straight games. 17 straight as the LA Dodgers. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They make the World Series against the Houston Astros. And they really, it was one of, that was, I'm not going to say it was the best, but it didn't have the appeal. Houston and LA did not really have that feel of, Boston, New York, or a Chicago Cubs versus, Yankees kind of feel. Or
even if it had been Dodgers, Cubs, Dodgers, Yankees, it would have had more of an appeal.
Yeah, but Astros, Dodgers didn't have that national appeal. It was, two big fan base. Houston is a very misleading market size. Yeah. Most people immediately go to New York and LA, boom. Then you got, usually in the mix, you would go Chicago and Boston, right? That's not right. Houston's actually the 4th largest market size. It's bigger than Miami. It's bigger than Boston. It's bigger than, but a lot of people don't see that. Houston is a huge market, but it just doesn't, the Astros, Dodgers didn't have that, it doesn't have a rivalry clash type feel. Just doesn't have that feel.
Yeah.
And when it came down to it, that might have been the best World Series I've ever watched, though. Remember that series? Every single game had a comeback. Every single game was 11-10, back and forth, extra innings. George Springer going back and forth. Dave Roberts making calls, going with Darvish instead of Kershaw in the final game. Just everything to involve in that series. It was an incredible series. Charlie Morton coming through and being an ace with Verlander. It had everything going on. But the one thing about that series was the Dodgers, out of nowhere, became this hot team and goes to the World Series. 17 straight games they had lost about a month before that. That can only happen in baseball. Football, you lose a couple games, your coach is on the hot seat. You lose 3 games in the SEC, and you're supposed to be a powerhouse.
That's a bad year.
You might be in the hot seat.
Yeah.
You might be done. And that's the difference right now think about it, Mark Richt. Miami was looked at a couple years ago as, how did he get them so? Remember they were 9-0 before they got beat by Pittsburgh near Thanksgiving? Wow, the Canes, man, what Mark Richt has done is incredible. Then they lose 4 straight games, and, there was no more Tony the Tiger. They're great. It was, oh no, we suck again. It was the guy from All of a Sudden Waterboy had popped into the story. And that's the difference right now in sports is football, college football, no matter with 4 or 8, it'll always keep that sacred grounds of you have to win those games. That will always stay sacred about college football compared to every other sport. And you know what? For a sport, when you're talking about something to the appeal of winning those big games, it comes down to money. It comes down to revenue. And for the NFL to go back to this long-winded speech to get back to the NFL preseason here, as we many times do, the NFL preseason games, if they move it, it makes more money, there's more games, and frankly, the biggest thing is it doesn't affect the way we look at the NFL. So I'm all for it in every way, in every aspect. Go to 18 games or even 17 games, take one away from the preseason, and go to one more game in the regular season.
Now, I would agree with that, and I would even take that a step further. Let's say if they do go to an 18-game regular season schedule, you've got these 2 preseason games. Coach K mentioned something earlier on today's Talk Football that I thought was really interesting. He was talking about taking the preseason games that you have left over. If you stick with 4, just take those 4, play them in places that don't have NFL teams. Play them in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
Play them in places that have stadiums, that have facilities that can hold a professional event like that. And it gives those fans that don't normally get to see the NFL up close and personal, it gives them an opportunity to see it. So, San Antonio, you could have a game in San Antonio maybe. Or Orlando's another one of those cities that does not have an NFL team. Yes, there's NFL teams close by with Tampa, Jacksonville, and the Dolphins, but they don't have anything right there in the city of Orlando. So I think that would also be a great idea and also add a little bit more intrigue for the for the preseason games.
A lot of great places you could go over, and I'm thinking Andalusia. Op.
There you go, yeah.
Great game in Op right there. I'm looking forward to that.
But think about it, though. On a serious note, though, the Patriots and the Packers played at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa.
That's true.
As a preseason game, because that would happen a couple of weeks before Alabama.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would.
But now we're going down a path of you could see some guy getting really ticked off if something happened to the sacred turf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
look, I'm just saying. You got to be careful about that holy grounds right there.
That is true.
Yeah, maybe play. They might let them play, right there at the basketball stadium, but I don't think they're going to
touch our field and our statues. We come after the trees.
How dare
man.
you touch my grass? Same thing Snoop Dogg said before the concert.
Hey-o.
We're coming back. Hey-o. Coming back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
Think of your hurricane preparedness in 3s. 1. Review or make a family plan that includes knowing where you will go during a hurricane.
2. Get a kit. that includes at least 3 days of non-perishable food and 3 gallons of water for each person and pet in your home, along with other supplies.
3. Know your zone and follow the evacuation orders.
For more information, go to BeReadyEscambia.com today.
Don't wait until it's too late.
New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline is engineered with 4 levels of defense against gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. It's sort of like having ninjas protect your engine. That helps keep your engine running like new. New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. It's fuel for thought in engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa, voted best day spa 8 years in a row.
Hulu's paying Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, Mallory Pugh, and other U.S. soccer stars a lot of money to do a new goal celebration called Hulu Has Live Sports. Why? It's simple. Because Hulu has live sports. You can watch the biggest games and sporting events like the Women's World Cup this summer on 60-plus top channels. No cable required. Plus, you can stream the entire Hulu library. Start your free trial of Hulu today. Live TV plan required. Restrictions apply. Learn more at hulu.com.
During these tough economic times, it's easy to lose sight of the importance of saving for the future. The National Foundation for Credit Counseling wants you to know there are simple steps to set aside dollars each month. The most important is reviewing all your monthly expenses and establishing a household budget. Need help getting started? Speak with a certified credit counselor who can help map out a plan for you. Call the NFCC at 800-388-2227. This has been a public service message from the NFCC.
Don't attempt stunt portrayed in this commercial. We're here at the City Zoo for an experiment. We have 2 groups of animals in holding pens sealed closed. One with JB Weld epoxy adhesive, the other with ordinary glue. The JB Weld door is holding strong, but uh-oh! The animals are pushing against the door held by ordinary household glue and it's breaking open. When strength really matters, don't glue it, JB Weld it. For metal, wood, plastic, and more. JB Weld, world's strongest bond. Available at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, and more.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Chamberlainante with you here as always. It's a little bit low, wasn't it? The audio there, the levels.
Yeah, somebody dropped the volume down to
just
11
a tad
on
bit.
the
I was
computer.
going to say,
like, all right.
More like a mandolin right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice little Hallmark Channel music. Yeah,
like
welcome
just
back into Martha Stewart.
Classic harpsichord right there coming in. Don't you always? I always wanted to be that guy in the band that plays the triangle. Just ding, What's the Blue Oyster Cult when they had the one with Will Ferrell when he just does he just has to gets it everybody's way, but all he has to do is just keep on hitting the triangle, over and over. But that's I always wanted to be that guy.
Yeah,
just get to play, but get to tour with them. You get to be on the tours with everybody, and you're the guy that plays the maracas. Like who has ever said. And maybe some guy in Mexico, but whoever has been like, well, I am a world-renowned Morocco player. I mean, just very famous. Me and the Chicos, we get together, and all of a sudden, you could watch my hips right here. Like, look, I can just do Moroccos with my voice. I don't even need them. But, like, imagine the guy that I'm a world-renowned tambourine player.
Yeah. Or just the guy that plays like the gong for Queen. He just has that one little hit at the end of Bohemian Rhapsody. What's he get to say to all the ladies? Oh yeah, I'm in Queen.
I'd bring one of those like the confetti shooters, like at least have another part to the end or something, like "Rock on Detroit." Yeah, right. You really shot the confetti shooter out great at the end of that. That was incredible. Looking at some of the other things going on right now, we talked about it yesterday, but if you missed it, Pro Bowler Chris Prather, world champion. He came over from right here in Pensacola, having a chance to win it all. Portland, Maine. He beat guys like Bill O'Neill and some of the big names to go ahead and win the first inaugural Pro Bowling PBA championship on Fox. This wasn't on like the Ocho either, or one of those channels. They have to find Fox Business, Bloomberg, or something. This was the Fox. It was on the main Fox right there. And what did the Fox say? Chris Prather. He wins it all, and he gets it done. And pretty cool to see. That's just another trophy to have right there. We already own St. Augustine and best first overall city. We already own, the best all-time leading running back in the history of the game in Emmitt Smith. We own 2 green jackets with Bubba Watson. He owns them, but we just claim them with it. We own
fastest
a lot
man
of
in track and field.
Best
now that he
stadium in the minor leagues in Blue Wahoo's. Fastest man in the world, Justin Gatlin.
Best team in the Southern League of the major leagues.
Best radio show and TV guy with hair, and myself and you. I was going to say, team, the dynamic team duo of hair. Best late night Paw Patrol guy for Ryder. We have a lot of different jobs, but Roy Jones, maybe best pound for pound boxer of all time. There's a lot of great accolades.
I think he's about the only boxer Stephen A. Smith did not call out on his show.
That is right there. But when it comes down to now we add bowling to that mix, which is great to see.
Yeah, it
cool.
is. It is. It really is, and I think it's a lot of fun, and it's great to have. I think it was you that were talking about the other day. Just the sheer amount of professional athletes, not just professional athletes, but professional athletes that are actually high caliber athletes in whatever sport it is at this level come from Pensacola. It's
incredible,
really incredible,
yeah. And the bowlers too. Do you think it would be worth showing the World Professional Bowling's tour of bumpers?
I would be on that.
I mean, it would be like, but you have to be under 100 bowler. At one point when are you under? See, that's when because the average bowler that doesn't know how, and it's an art to be able to spin it perfectly. Most of us are straight shooters. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of the guys that know how to spin, even if they're not a 300 bowler.
Go bowling with Brent Lane.
He's a spinner.
From Cat Country.
He spins it.
Yeah, he
Does he got the glove?
He shows
Does
up
he have a glove?
No, he's not Ernie McCracken.
Okay,
he's not
all
Ernie
right.
McCracken, but he shows up. He's got his own ball. He's ready to go. And I showed up. We played with Cat Country, our sister station, Cat Country 98.7. We played as part of.
Did the cat have to bowl with the paws?
The cat.
Okay.
Granny bowled. He went between the legs, but Brent shows up, has his own ball, and he puts a nice little curve on that. I mean, he's got like a Tom Glavine type curveball that he throws on that thing, and it's nice to see. It's
pretty cool right there. I've never even fathomed the art of that.
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be a lot of wasted money in gutters. It would immediately go into the gutter when I try to spin it.
3 lanes over for me.
But I did actually bowl a 175 of John Stockton bounce passes. Okay. Now, it was a 6-pound ball for the people out there listening. Right. I did not ruin the lane. It was a short bounce pass. Some of those, what we're about to call them here. But the guys that throw it way up in the air, and try to loft it, and then they get kicked out of the bowling lane. I have respect. Look, Steve Brown's one of the nicest guys in the world. I have tons of respect Cordova Lanes. I'd never do that. But I was giving just straight bounce passes like that and bowled a 175. It was actually 40 better than me bowling normal. So it was, couldn't hurt. But, I can't do the whole, nah. What do you? Now I do. I'm up there with the 14er, 14-pound ball, folks. I'm not up there with the 14er. I'm up there with the 14er. Just come say hi to me. That's my wife. But the 14-pound ball, people. Let's get this under control.
Right.
Yeah. Let's make sure we stay on track here. Looking at some of the other things going on when it comes down to the College Football Hall of Fame. Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing me that. Yeah. Andrew McCutcheon, torn ACL, and that is not good for the Phillies.
No,
it's good for the Braves, but let's not. This is a sad. Andrew McCutcheon seems like one of the good guys. You know where he's from, right?
Actually, I don't know.
He is from a house.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on here to he's from DeLand, Florida, right there, Barlow, right there.
Okay.
All right. Barton. Yeah. He's right there from Barton, and he's right outside. Not DeLand. I'm sorry, Lakeland. He's from Lakeland. Because different cities, Chad. Let's wake up. One's great at skydiving. One is great at having really good high school teams that know how to quote take protein shakes when you played them in high school. But when it comes down to Lakeland, I remember watching Andrew McCutcheon grow up and calling some of the games. This guy is a heck of he was the 5-tool kind of guy. When he came out of Pittsburgh, he was the kind of guy. Him and Starlin Marte both could do it all, but he never could get past that 28-90. Everybody expected him to be a 35, 120, and he did. Yeah, I think he finished second. Did he win? I'm not 100%, but Andrew McCutcheon might have won the National League MVP. I've got to double check, but he either got first or second in the voting when he was with the Pirates. But ever since, he has been good, but he never really found a home in San Francisco. Remember, he was on the New York Yankees last year. Remember, he was there for like a couple months with the Yankees.
Yeah, 2013 he did win the
That's
NL
what I
MVP.
thought. Okay,
yeah.
So he won the MVP, and then you can come on by. Don't worry about it. We have people now afraid to come on. We'll make sure to get on in there and have some fun. But yeah, we're able to do that, and when it comes down to it, that is something that is pretty cool to have the opportunity. So we're going to go ahead and we'll talk some more about Andrew McCutcheon. He has torn ACL coming up here, and get into more on the College Football Hall of Fame. Some of the guys, what player from this year's ballot do you feel was the biggest game changer, from Julius Red Hot Peppers to your good friend CJ Spillers and Chris Samuel, Tony Romo, and more. Tony Romo maybe we'll make the Broadcasting Hall of Fame because it's not winning playoff games. We're coming back for more right here in the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola has you covered from the national and local levels. From Golic and Wingo to the Sports Drive, the Paul Feinbaum Show to talk football with Coach K, we have it all. It's the latest and best in sports talk radio, making us Pensacola's hometown sports network. ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on HD Radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT, and streaming online at our website at ESPNpensacola.com.
Ted here, dialing in from Denver.
Kenzie and the Chicago team dialing in.
Okay, let's get started.
Ted's in charge of this project. He's a total goober. And what's with the haircut?
Guys, can definitely hear you. But really good reception.
Conference call's no-brainer, the mute button. Barbasol's no-brainer, finally making razors to go along with America's favorite shaving cream. Try Barbasol's Ultra 6 Plus razor with 6 ultra-thin blades for a close, comfortable shave.
Barbasol. Summer's here, and it's time for a Luau Bash Bike Night at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola. Thursday night, come out for music from Nana Fly, free drinks from Harley's Angels, food from Dragon Express Catering, and prizes for the best Hawaiian-style shirts. Saturday noon till 3, come out for the Bikini Bike Wash. Let the Harley's Angels do the dirty work while you enjoy complimentary drinks, burgers, and dogs hot off the grill. For all event details, check out Harley-Davidson of Pensacola on Facebook.
O'Reilly. A rough-running engine could be suffering from buildup of fuel and oil deposits. Smooth out a rough engine, restore power, and improve fuel economy with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and purchase 2 bottles of Seafoam Motor Treatment and get one free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. At Denny's, you can get 2 eggs, 2 pancakes, 3 pieces of sausage, and 3 pieces of bacon, all for $5.99. Now, before you say, wow, that's a lot of meat, know that this dish has its fan base right there in the name. This is for people who really love meat, the super meat lovers. So if you're a super meat lover who likes the idea of getting all the meat you love at a super low price, then the $5.99 Meat Lover Slam is for you. See you at Denny's. Price and participation may vary. Limited time only, no substitutions.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by NAB and this station.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive. ESPN Pensacola 945 and on Blab TV. Chad Brillante with you here. Jordan Glass. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday evening. A reminder coming up, Pensacola Blue Wahoos baseball at 6:35. We'll send it out to Chris Garagiola and the crew. Doing a great job as always. And Jordan, it's always a good time out there. Nice bay breeze you get going, and it's always fun to watch the number one team right now in the Southern League.
Yeah, they were victorious with walk-off in the bottom of the 10th inning last night, 8-7. So they'll look to continue that tonight, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Gorgeous weather for it, too, by the way.
Had a walk-off in college one time. They booed me right off the field. Never returned.
Okay.
It was just walked right off. It was done. Coach fired me. Didn't really have to. I mean, I walked off the team.
I thought you were going to go with a date.
It's a classic
she
moment.
Just walked right off.
You know that I like to talk, but it was short and sweet when I tell this story to folks. Guys, great moment in college. Had a walk-off. And then I walk off from that story so nobody has to ask any more questions. Looking right now, the SEC, you got 6 teams moving on. Auburn, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, LSU, and Ole Miss. Out of the 6 teams, Jordan, which one has the best fitted hats? No, I'm just saying, which one of the 6 teams you think has the best chance to go all the way?
You know, I don't know. I think Texas A&M got a little help there with the Grand Slam, but I don't think it's I don't know. It's kind of tough.
Yeah.
It is really tough. Man, that is a really hard question, actually. I'm going to go.
It is a tough question.
I'll go with Mississippi State. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, they're playing. No, that's a good one. I'm going to go Vanderbilt because of the emotion, the way that they've caught fire of late. When they came back and beat Ole Miss for the SEC title game, and what they've done since then, they just seem like they're playing with some energy. And they always have great players, from Dansby Swanson, David Price throughout the years. But I like Vanderbilt, and they've been wearing those cool All-American jerseys, too, having a little passion out there. America, getting into it, and pretty cool to see. Andrew McCutchen being out is going to hurt the Phillies. I don't think the Phillies were ready to win it all now, and why I say that, they've got a good roster, but it really, truly comes down to having that 1-2-3 punch. And, I'm talking about not 3 guys that get arrested on your football team on defense. I'm talking the 1-2-3 punch of having aces like Clayton Kershaw and what Hyun-Jin Ryu have done in L.A. with another guy you could go to who's reliable like a Rich Hill. When you go to those many guys, what you can do is you can then create the opportunity to know that your team is favored every game. For instance, the Phillies were playing against the Dodgers this week, and you had a lot of matchups with Walker Buehler or Ryu or guys like Kershaw, and in every one of the pitching matchups, they were a heavy favorite over the Phillies pitcher. And it wasn't because the Phillies didn't have Bryce Harper or McCutchen at the beginning before he got hurt, or guys like Segura. It was because of the pitching duels. And that's the thing is, if you don't have those aces, just like the reason why the Red Sox won the World Series last year, and even with the Astros and how many great young stars they have, from Altuve to Springer to Correa, it's really Verlander and guys up front that are creating that opportunity.
Right.
And that's something Philly right now. They've got good pitching. Jake Arrieta, they ain't get the best of his prime when he was in Chicago. You got guys like Jared Eichhoff that aren't bad, but they don't have – Aaron Nola is good, but even last night he got shelled late by the Padres. I think that they're just a few years away. It hurts them, but to me, this doesn't end what was, we bought Bryce Harper, man. We bought him. This was our year, bro. Look, Philly, you just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. You got a Sixers team that's getting better and was one shot away from going to the NBA Finals. Yeah. So at this point, you need to just sort of ease it on over. Relax. Yeah. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, and if those failed, you still got Temple.
That's right. Go Owls! Right there, Villanova. Hey, Villanova won. I'm just saying, Villanova won a couple rings. Yeah, look, they're doing good.
Yeah,
they're doing okay for themselves. They're Flyers. Yeah, gritty. Yeah, move on from. Just move on from gritty. Yeah, let's ignore gritty. Just don't know. Looking right now at some of the other things we talked about, things after yesterday's in the middle of having that soda just explode all over me. It was actually an energy drink, and it was very annoying. Some of the things we're going to go back and forth annoy you, or things that you can move on, not that big of a deal as we continue this right here. Movies that aren't you're really not sure what they are seeing when it comes down to the movies, meaning that you sort of like you go into the movie theater and you're not exactly sure what you're seeing. Meaning, are you one of those kind of people that is, I think you would have to buy a ticket, but I'm talking about more Netflix, things like that. Are you have to watch the previews? Do you have to watch or you can just watch it? Those people that they have to watch the previews. Annoying or is it okay?
No, I'm one of the people that I read the little excerpt of what the movie's about. I don't really pay attention to the previews. And honestly, now Netflix, to be honest with you, is now just kind of played. It's like music playing with like clips of the movie behind it, and you can't really find anything out about it. But yeah, no, it is a little annoying to where when people are like, all right, let's watch the trailer for it real quick, and then we can decide if we want to watch it. I'm like, just be spontaneous, watch it. If it's terrible, it's free. Who cares?
That one's not that big of it. And I don't even think that was what I wrote down here. As you can see, I wrote these in the car. You could tell I had no clue where I was going with it. I could not read my handwriting on that. YMCA guy who never passes at hoops. Like, you go out to play, you're like 25 minutes or 30 minutes. All you want to do is get an exercise and get a couple shots in. And all this guy does, he's usually old, balding, he's got beer gut going on, and he never passes.
It's like
never passes.
It's like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in the Long
Exactly. Yeah. Rain Man.
Why lightning? No. That is very annoying.
Yeah.
Very much.
Very annoying on that one. I agree. How about the guy who is loud on the phone with his conversation in a very small public forum? Like you're at dinner, and he's like, okay, Sally, I told you we're picking up the kids at 7. I told you 7. I already said that. The kids are with grandma. They're okay. And you're like at an Italian restaurant and trying to like sit 2 seconds away. Like, annoying or all right?
No, that's very annoying, especially when they're on the phone with like what probably is like movie phone or something like that, and you've got just the times of movies being repeated in the air, but they're like, no, we're going to merge that over. Yeah, $500,000. Just merge that over into the other account. Yeah,
Bluetooth Warriors.
That's
the Bluetooth
really
Warriors.
Account. Yeah, that's really annoying.
Okay, how about to stick on that note, the family, I don't mind this. I've got a 3-year-old, and she likes to dance and have fun, and she's very animated, and she loves singing Moana, things like that. But, okay, the loud, obnoxious family, but their parents, you could tell, have just hit that wall where they do not care, and they're not trying to do anything about it. That's all we ask. That's all we ask is, hey, if your kid's making like parrot noises at a restaurant, and, I was at Jason's Deli, and Jason's Deli is a place where you can just go in and use it. But this person was like, like making dinosaur noises in my ear. Like I think he was trying to be a pterodactyl. I think that's what he was going for. Maybe a stegosaurus. I'm not sure. But it was right over the other side of the chair, right in my ear. And I was just, I'm not going to be like, hey, son, you say another word, I'm turning a T-Rex and ripping your face off. Like I wanted to say that, but I'm going to velociraptor all over you. But all of a sudden, that didn't sound right. But okay, cops, don't come get me. But when it comes down to it, the kid is making these noises, and all I wanted was the parents to just like be like, hey, Jimmy, can you at least try to sit down? And even if you kept making those noises, they made an effort. They did something. But instead, they were just texting on their phone, not giving a darn.
See, what you do next time, you take a little hot sauce, you put it on a chip, and then you pop it. No, don't do that. Yeah. Do not do that.
What you do
Looking
is
at the camera, don't do that.
You take your fork. Okay. But it was a spork. I didn't know. Yeah, okay. Moving on to the next one here. How about the guy that acts like he's stopping for the ambulance, but he keeps going? Those annoy the crap out of me. Hate that. For 2 seconds, if you can't take your time out of your day. Now, there are serious, we've all been there, and we usually, the people that are respectful, they care the most when you are that person that actually is trying to get over, but you didn't realize there was an ambulance. Maybe you were rocking to some Freebird or something, and you didn't realize that the ambulance was coming. You feel the worst when you're like, oh, crap. But the guy that actually tries to linger around or does not stop for the ambulance and looks almost annoyed that they missed the green light because the ambulance had to go. Those people are like, they're like inching forward, be like, I'm not missing this green light. Like, if you can't wait 30 seconds for that person who probably is dying inside that ambulance, you are a scumbag. So I want to put that out there. Pet peeve of mine. Cannot stand those people right there. Parking that takes up more than one space in the big truck.
Yes.
Oh gosh, not a fan of those. I know if you don't have a big if you have a big ass truck and you want to go out there and you want to drive it around, that is fine. I don't even mind if you park on the side in those spots where it's clearly like a loading zone or you're not supposed to park, but you're not going to be blocking 2 spots. But the big trucks that take up 2 spots, come on, dude. You're not better than if you're at a place that clearly, like if you go to the Cordova Mall over there by like where the BJ's and over that area where it's completely open parking lot, unless there's I've never seen that parking lot full. You know what I'm talking about? The part over there. Like, okay, if you park over there, that's fine. Do what you want to do. But we're talking about going to a place like a New York deli over there, or a restaurant where you
chicken salad.
Chicken salad. You go to a place like that
Yeah.
and you take up 2 spots. Like, shame on you, and I hope you get towed. Looking at the next one, how about the this is a bad one here. I actually got this last night at Publix. Apparently, there was a whole entire class at the Publix there in East Hill that got out from CrossFit at the same time because they were all in the healthy. So I went immediately to like the ice cream and pizza, and nobody was there. They were all getting some they were getting fruits and protein shakes, and I was like, all right, I'll take care of this Briars. But so I'm sitting there, and it was a huge line, and all of a sudden though, you're at that spot where you've been waiting a ton, but there's still 2 more people in front of you that clearly have full carts. Not the Express 10 that nobody really follows anyway, or the guy that acts coy and he's like, oh, I didn't know I had 26. And then there's always like a sweet girl in high school that does not care, and she's like, just put them on here anyway. And you're like, you knew exactly. Sir, you had 7 BOGOs in the front of your car. That's 14 items, as I can see right there. You knew you had 26. Don't con yourself into this for 2 seconds. You did a whole shopping. You got a big cart. You don't have one of those side carts or anything. You got the kid in the NASCAR cart right there. So okay, imagine though the new line opening at the grocery store, but the one that the guy that goes, I'm now open, and immediately they see that you can still get over, but they rush over in front of you. Do those people annoy you? Like the people from the other lines that rush in front of you that you've been waiting forever, and they come swooping in and take those when they clearly you've been waiting for about 15 minutes.
That definitely is annoying, but I've come to find that in that, karma actually steps up pretty quickly
Does
in
it?
that situation,
Okay.
to where they'll get over there on that register, and when they're checking out, the register will break.
Ah.
And then you're done
Or they
and
get the
gone.
grandma with the checkbook?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
gosh,
you're
those are the
done
worst.
You're done and gone while they're
Did
still
you say
standing in line.
$7.52?
She pulls out change to pay for it.
I don't have my old checkbook. This one's expired. Dang it. And then she walks to the car, like you're just like, and you can't say anything to that grandma. I was in line at the bank yesterday, and that person, she goes, oh, you're colorful. And at first I was like, oh, okay, this is a little, but she was talking about the guy's tattoo, arm tattoo, about 15 colorful arm tattoos. And then she asked, so he opened it up, and she was like, oh, that's a funny tattoo. What is that tattoo? And she had a sweet old grandma up there. And she even said, this is the highlight of my day. Like, she was probably going back to watch Golden Girls, eat bonbons. Like, this, she got out of the house. She was happy.
Yeah.
Good for her. And she looked over, and the guy looked down at his arm, and he goes, didn't want to say it because there was a big line, and we're all sitting there in line. And she looks at me, and he's like, well, that's actually the portal to hell, and this is a demon getting sucked down through the pit. And she was like, oh. And then just walked away. And I was like, well,
Clutching
you did,
her pearls.
Grandma, you did ask. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy is tatted up through the neck. I mean, at least the demon's getting sucked through the portal here. At least it's not like he's like celebrating birthday with Dumbo. So, at that point, yeah, she asked and he answered at that point. But how about the new line, people? Yeah, I think that one is a little bit up in the air. How about this one from a sports standpoint as we get into annoying to a point where it is almost where you cannot stand it, infuriating, or not a big deal at all. Here we go. The guy who's looking to just sell memorabilia and does not care about the signature. Just cuts off the kids to get the signature.
That is definitely annoying. Yeah. And even worse is the ones that own stores when you walk into
Oh,
their
God.
stores. So,
They're
yeah,
always,
yeah.
none of these people are like kind-hearted people, too. They're always dirtbags, usually.
Hair
And if
slicked
you're
back,
listening out
yeah.
there, you know you're a dirtbag. Don't try. Over cynical guy that always team stinks. The worst is golfers that are like 78 to 80s, which is like 8 or 9 over. They know how to play, but they think that they're Tiger Woods.
Right.
So they're like 150 out, and they always wear like the Titleist hats with the backward shades. They always do these things, and then all of a sudden you see the guy. They'll go out there, and he'll hit it like right off the side of the rough, and he'll be like, "Crap, bro!" And you're getting there like, dude, you're not that good to get. You want to spin it back into the hole and just wave at fake crowds anyway. Like those people annoy me. I'm not a fan of that.
It's annoying, but it's also entertaining. Just
It is
to watch
entertaining,
Just
yeah.
to watch them, go out there and they look like, they walk around and act like they're the greatest golfer on the course. Then they hit it and it's just hooked it. Pulled a hammy. I pulled a hammy, man.
And they look that way, and they always stretch on the driving range.
Right, yeah.
I go straight to a driver in the driving range. Like I'm got it, flaunt it, just get out there and crush it. It's the only time where I can just shank one and it looks good because you got about 200 yards wide of space to work with. So but these guys that get out there, they stretch, they start off with each. They lay out the 4 different degrees of sand wedges that they're going to chip, and it's like, okay, man, if you're a teacher or you're a pro, good for you. Or work with Rob Strano, he probably does that. Just to be that guy out there, 5 p.m., getting out for happy hour golf, I'm just waiting for the car call. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more from the guys, that guy from sports, and we'll also get to more of the big stories today. Andrew McCutchen out for the season with the torn ACL for the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get to more on some Major League Baseball action coming up in a few minutes. Blue Wahoo, 6:35. Thanks for joining us here for the Sports Drive. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline is engineered with 4 levels of defense against gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. It's sort of like having ninjas protect your engine. That helps keep your engine running like new. New Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. It's fuel for thought in engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
Our Pensacola Wahoos are back for another season, and with the new season comes some fresh and new changes. Our Wahoos are now the new AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins, and they have a new broadcast home here in Pensacola, right here at your hometown station for hometown sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos action from home and away with Chris Garagiola. Wahoos baseball presented by Denny's on the new official flagship station for the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and ESPNpensacola.com.
If you're a small business owner, there's no better place to find the impact hire to help your business than LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs takes the time to learn more about who you're looking for and then recommends qualified candidates from their community of engaged and career-minded people, candidates who you likely won't be able to reach anywhere else. The truth is, over 70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn, and posting your job on LinkedIn gives you the best chance of finding and starting a conversation with your next star recruit. It's no surprise a new hire is made every 8 seconds using LinkedIn. So build your winning team by posting a job on LinkedIn and visit linkedin.com/sports to get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports for $50 off your first job post. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
He was a star quarterback at Pensacola High, played alongside Gator great Steve Spurrier, and rose up the ranks to become head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, he's talking football on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office. Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio. And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5. And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday evening, having some fun as always. Tomorrow will be game 3 of the NBA Finals right there. Game
3? Yeah.
3. Yeah, correct.
One game apiece.
Game 3. Yeah, it's one apiece.
We're getting that in the Stanley Cup Finals mixed up.
That's all right. No, I mean, they're all ready to game number 5 getting ready. Nice win by the Blues last night. They got it done. Look, Blues are not going to go down easy. Both those teams, and it's the Bill Walton conversation of the day. The team to score the most points out here. I'm seeing colors. I'm seeing great people. The Grateful Dead. I'm seeing dog parks and just awesome things that I've never known existed. These chocolate morsels. And you're like, Bill, we got a game. But when he goes, whoever scores the most points under the Golden Arches here tonight will win tonight's basketball game. And you say, okay, well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. But back to Captain Obvious. St. Louis Blues and Boston Bruins were playing their best hockey. They're playing incredible hockey, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but you can have a good team. Like Golden State is not playing their best basketball right now. They've had injuries. Think about it. Kevin Durant's out. Klay Thompson now is out. They're not playing. At one point they went on a tear when people said, "Is this team done?" in the middle of the regular season, where they were beating teams by like 40 points. They're not playing their best basketball right now. However, they're still good enough to win because of their roster. And for Boston and St. Louis, they are both playing incredible hockey right now, and it gives anybody a shot to win. That's why Boston can turn on the Jets and go up 3-0 in St. Louis, and then last night St. Louis can go ahead and go up a couple goals on Boston. They both have the type of games right now where if they get excited and they get feeling like Jim McElwain seeing the tiger shark at the beach, all of a sudden people they just get everything flowing. The juices are flowing and they're feeling the flow. And all of a sudden, as we said yesterday, I'm coming. But when it comes down to it, you think about what is going on in the hockey. I think it's going to go 7, and it's great. And if you haven't watched it, I'm watching it as a Boston fan, and I got some St. Louis fans that have come out of the woodworks. They're true fans, but they've never been and won an NHL Stanley Cup, so you're just not used to hearing from them. It'd be like if you picked a football team right now. Think about it. It'd be sort of like what the Bucks were doing in basketball, and it was similar to in the NFL when the Jacksonville Jaguars were in that AFC title game. All of a sudden, these Jags fans that you didn't even know had jerseys, it still said Mark Brunell or Tony Baselli on it.
Exactly. Bortles,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got Brunell jerseys out there showing up that are showing up to the man. We love the Jags. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen you root for the Jags in 15 years, bro. Like all of a sudden they became fans,
right?
And it's just a short trip down I-10, man. You don't even know that. Who's their quarterback? Not the point, man. Like, that's the thing is, well, they really didn't have a quarterback that year. Sorry, my UCF brethren, but, nobody was popping Bortles for him. I'm telling you, right now, you look at what they've been able to accomplish. It's pretty incredible to think about the St. Louis Blues. And it's been a heck of a series so far.
No, it has, and I think this game, I agree with you. I think this series is going to go to 7. I think the NBA Finals is going to go to 7. I think we're going to have two great series on our hands here, and it's great for both sports. It's great for both sports. It's great for sports in general. So, as long as things keep going the way they're going in both of these finals, it's going to be an interesting next couple of weeks.
Looking at some of the other things going on right now, we talked about it. 6 teams out of the SEC in the Super Regionals: Auburn, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, LSU, and Ole Miss, and then Florida State as well representing. So pretty much a lot of the teams we cover make up about half of it. Michigan had a chance to close it out, lost to Creighton in a tough game. It would have been their first time, 2007, and had a huge lead late and ended up blowing that one. But we'll have more on some of the dramatic fashion of what has been one of the great college baseball tournaments so far. You've had 7 walk-offs. When we come back, we'll continue to have the conversation. Thanks for watching on Blab TV, ESPN Pensacola 94.5, right here on this Tuesday evening.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
Goes up the middle. At the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25. He's getting Derek Brooks all the way. Touchdown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Derek Brooks, the dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Bubba Watson is wearing a green jacket, and this time his name is Bubba.
Pitch on the way. Russell drives one in the air. Deep left center. That back near the wall. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Grand slam, Addison Russell. The new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
And Richardson breaks free on the sideline. End zone. How about that? Bama scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And these them Louisiana, Pensacola guys, they looking crazy and all that.
Morris, blocked by the tight end Paul. That opens up the door. Breaking the coverage tackle. To the pylon. Touchdown.
Really nice effort there by Alfred Morris, extending that ball over the goal line.
Near side ball is that big game. Doug Baldwin's got a first down. Doug Baldwin, 93 yards, now has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reggie Evans, and he's going to get an ovation. Guy from Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola 94.5 and on Blab TV. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here as always, having some fun with you. Got some Major League Baseball games to start up here in just a second from now. We've got the Pensacola Blue Wahoos will be in action at 6:30. Looking forward to that as they will be taking on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. It is always good to see that series right there and more. And having some fun here. Joining us in studios as you can catch him throughout the season, our sports guru and somebody that knows a thing or two about the College Baseball World Series, our good friend Jeffrey D. Jeff, what's happening, my friend?
Not much. College baseball heating up, the Super Regionals, probably the greatest time during the college baseball season because you've got so many compelling matchups. I mean, you've got Florida State at LSU. You've got Auburn at North Carolina. You just go across the board with great matchups.
And it's been a good series so far. Good to see Mike Martin. I know as a Florida fan, you respect the quality of what Florida and Florida State. They have a great rivalry. You might not respect them at the bar, the hooligan yelling at you, but what you respect is the quality of your opponent because great rivalries are not made over things when it comes to mediocre play. And what I mean is the oldest rivalry in football is Paul Bunyan's axe between Minnesota and Wisconsin. But nobody's jumping for joy to sit down outside of Big Ten fans, a few of them in that category, to stop what they're doing to watch Minnesota and Wisconsin for football because it hasn't had that national appeal. Now, Michigan, Ohio State, yes. Same thing with watching Auburn versus Alabama or Florida versus Florida State in their prime, especially when Werfel and Charlie Ward used to battle out in the mid-'90s. But you look right now, and that's one thing with Mike Martin and Coach O'Sullivan and what Florida and Florida State baseball, and even Miami for so long. But when you look right now at what these guys have been able to do, I think it's really cool to see that the respect factor of what everybody has for somebody like Mike Martin.
Absolutely. Mike Martin, iconic coach. This is his 40th year as head coach at Florida State. And Mike is now gone to the NCAA tournament 40 consecutive times. They were kind of on the verge of not getting in because they really needed to beat NC State within the ACC tournament to get enough wins to, in fact, they're one of the last four into the tournament. And they, another anecdote is that Florida State has won 40 games in every year that he's been there. They're 39 right now, so they need one more win. So even if they get eliminated by LSU 2-1, then he still hits those milestones. And just the only thing that's elusive is that national title. And as you guys said, even Gator fans are cheering for Mike Martin to win that national title.
Yeah, especially with Florida out now. But when you talk about the Florida Gators, and when you look at this baseball season overall, is it a year where, what you did in women's softball, there's been a lot of sports that they continue to dominate in, but when it comes down to it, is it really hurt to not see the basketball and baseball team have great seasons? Because they were pretty mediocre for their standards. Meaning that even basketball has taken a page where fans expect them to be in the Elite Eight, from over the years. Really, over the last couple of years, Tennessee, I think, took over more of Florida's role this year in basketball. It's been Kentucky and Tennessee now. And where before, and Auburn, obviously, what Auburn was able to do. But I think throughout most of the regular season, Auburn came on at the end and made an incredible run. But a lot of people always had Kentucky and Florida as those two teams they expected to go far in the college basketball tournament. And this year it took a little bit of a page back. Same thing with baseball. I think LSU and Florida, Vanderbilt, seem to be that team. And now I think Mississippi State, who's been pretty consistent, has jumped into that driver's seat, as well as Arkansas. But what do you make of that? Do you feel like it's just been a couple down years?
Baseball's kind of transient. You keep a guy for 3 years. If he signs with you, a lot of times you're signing kids, and they end up going and signing a major league or a contract with one of the major league teams.
And a lot of those guys went to the draft.
You lose a lot of those guys, and so you end up with a young team like Florida's got this year. They're starting. The starting rotation was 2 sophomores and a freshman. Almost the entire bullpen were sophomores and freshmen.
Right.
So it's in Sullivan said at the beginning of the year, it's like, we're going to struggle this year, especially early. We might get hot late because these kids will mature a little bit. The guy won the national title 2 years ago, and he's a great developer of pitchers. Everybody has a down year. I mean, Virginia won the national title 4 years ago, and they haven't made the tournament the last 2 years. And so there's ebbs and flows and ups and downs. I wouldn't worry about Florida baseball. I certainly wouldn't worry about Florida basketball. There's 2 5s and a 4 coming in this year, and Nimhard has decided to stay. So there's a nucleus of 6 players that are 4- and 5-star guys that will be able to get it done. The Gators will be much better in basketball next year.
Yeah, had you asked me about Florida basketball, had you asked me if I was worried about the future for them moving forward closer to the tournament, I would have said yes. But now with what he said, with the players that Mike White has gone out and brought in, and the type of players that are there, I think he had a great point. Florida basketball is going to be fine in the future. Florida baseball is definitely going to be fine in the future. It was a down year this year. Florida fans were upset on social media, but they just need to calm down and it'll be fine next year.
Well, and a lot of those social media folks are talking from a perspective of very little knowledge.
Right,
they're looking at results, and they're not analyzing the situation. And so, the players and the coaches know to ignore those people because they have no clue what they're talking about. And so, if someone's sniping at the Gator basketball or baseball teams on social media, consider the source.
And it's even with football on social media. When the whole situation happened with Steele, who transferred to Oregon, well, now we're getting word that he may be leaving Oregon to go to USC. So now there's kind of a lot more people that were bashing Dan Mullen and the way they were running that program and handled that situation. They're looking at this going, okay, if he went to Oregon, now all of a sudden he's wanting to leave Oregon all of a sudden to go to USC. Mm-hmm. Maybe it wasn't necessarily Dan Mullen as much as it was Steele.
That's a great point, Jordan, because Steele had committed to USC, then he committed to UCLA. He ended up at Florida. Yeah. The guy can't make up his mind. Now it's Oregon and back to USC. So that's 5 schools in less than a year. And so there was more to that whole Steele situation than them not moving out of Jalen Jones's dorm room.
Right.
I think that the Gators got some bad pub on that, and maybe deservedly so, but probably not.
Looking at some of the other things going on right now, we talked a little bit about the most passionate fan bases on the show the other day. And, Jeff, I know you were listening in, and we talked about it later, but, Obviously there was a West Coast bias article by USA Today. Whoever wrote the article clearly got his PhD from a school like Washington State. But it said Washington State, Oregon, and also Washington, and the top 5, which is just frankly absurd. I mean, even if you're not a big... Look, I know I grew up in SEC country, originally from up north, but you got to respect the brand. And what I mean is, in the NBA, whether you're a fan of them or not, and whether their team stinks and their owner boos people and shuns them out, Madison Square Garden is the holy grail, is one of the places where basketball, you're going to show up and they're going to be passionate, as Knicks fans. They might have bad records, but it's passion. Same thing with the Boston Garden or going up and watching a Philadelphia 76ers game or something like that, compared to what you're going to get from the Miami Heat. Or you can't compare the Orlando Magic, even though they've had good players. You can't compare the Magic to the Boston Garden. You know what I'm saying? It's just not fair. Same thing with the Lakers and the Staples Center. Same thing with you can't compare the Oregon Ducks or the Washington State Cougars to what you get when you go to Bryant-Denny or the Swamp or what you get. It's just a different feel. I mean, I laughed when we celebrate fake national titles and we have a good time, and UCF claims a lot of things. We claim Jump Around, the song right there. Oh, Zombie Nation, and, having fun with it. That's our song, man. It's like, yeah, they played at every stadium. Woo. But we claimed it. The trampoline effect with bad infrastructure. But when it comes down to overall, I went to a USF game, doubles, which was the war on I-4. That's our rival game, and at the time it was a game with two teams with a combined record of 21-1. It's a big game. It was a great game too. It was the game that went back and forth. The score was 51-49 that year. Remember, it was back and forth. UCF returned. I lost my voice that day and had to actually almost sit it out on Monday, coming back and doing a show. But when they returned that kick after Flowers went right down the field and scored, it was awesome. It was so cool. It was on path to win our fake national title that year, by the way. Big win. So going to that game, and then a couple weeks later, I remember having an opportunity to go to a LSU game, and it just, or the next season, and it was just like, okay, I'm not going to try to compare this. Brittany took me to an LSU game. I'd been to one, a couple SEC games before, but to be sitting at a Tiger Stadium compared to going to that UCF game, you're like, yeah, all right. It's a different atmosphere, and that's how it's always going to be. The SEC, same thing with Florida State. Look, Florida State has had some incredible teams. We got fans over here that obviously are upset with what Willie Taggart's doing, but they understand how good they've been in football for so long. Bobby Bowden gave them 30 years of success. The difference is nobody, if you in their right mind, would say that Doak Campbell is more rockin' than the Swamp or Sanford Stadium or one of those when you look at the size. Because just look at the extra 20, 30,000 people you get screaming, hooting, and hollering, and it's not comparable. It's just, that's. I'm not saying the fans are impassionate. It's the atmosphere of the whole thing that you get in the SEC and some stadiums in the Big Ten too. Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. But Jeff, to put the Pac-10 3 in the top 5 is just.
Yeah, there's a
straight moonshine right there.
You made a lot of comments there, and there's a lot to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack. Yeah.
One of them is, you're right.
I'm packing.
That was
I am packing too.
Clearly was that a Yahoo article, or who did that? USA Today?
He was a Yahoo, but it was a USA Today article.
But anyway, it was clearly a West Coast bias there, because, listen, the people that go to Washington State are the guys that don't get into Washington, and they're not going to, they'll go to the games and they'll cheer, Mike Leach and the team on, but they're dispassionate compared to any SEC school, because football is important in the South. It's not that big a deal, in the Northwest. And so, to equate Washington State and Oregon and some of those schools to the LSUs and Alabama. So Alabama is number one on my list as far as passionate fans, and then LSU probably number 2. But you mentioned Florida State. I think they have a really good environment at their football games.
But would you put it in the same category? Would you put it in the same category?
I think LSU. I think Florida
because they've
State,
been winning though, and what I mean is winning tradition breeds that. But I'm talking about the ones. I feel like when I moved here, and I said something when Louisiana Monroe, because right around the time I moved here, look, the price wasn't always right. Literally, the price was wrong. He was using some money at Arities and other stuff. But when it comes down to Alabama, there was a little bit of a DeBose period what was going on with Shula, Francione. It wasn't always perfect for a little while, but you still went to every shop in Tuscaloosa or anywhere and lived or breathed Roll Tide. It's like Kentucky. Kentucky's not always been number one in college basketball, but if you go to Lexington, the whole city shuts down. And I'm not saying Florida State's not passionate. They're angry right now about Willie Taggart, but I feel like the reason Florida State has been so dominant compared to some of these other fan bases is because they've lived a life of 20, 30 years of dominance where the ACC, they weren't molded from day one into a football school. It took some time, and with the breeding of winning has created that atmosphere. But I'm talking everything from the whole city. Tallahassee, I lived in Tallahassee for a couple years, and there's plenty to do outside of Florida State football. You're going to get garnet and gold wherever you go. You even got it FAMU, you got other things. But there are some cities, and you know that, in the SEC, in the Big 12, some in the Big 10, where the entire city shuts down and everything is about that team.
Well, I think Florida State fans got spoiled to a large extent because they had they won for so many years. They actually finished in the top 4 for 14 consecutive years. Yeah. It's almost like an Atlanta Braves division streak or something. And so Florida State fans, if there's a little slippage, they're not going to show up, and they didn't show up last year.
I don't mind a little slippage.
But you're right. Whenever there's slippage, Florida State fans don't show up, and the
unless
numbers.
Jen Sturger was the slippage, then they show up. Oh, never mind. Sorry, go.
And the numbers that Alabama fans showed up, even in the DeBose and Francione years, and that Florida fans showed up in the Muschamp and McElwain Shark years.
There's just some fan bases where, I don't know, and I hope it's a research project for Florida State fans that we don't have to see. I don't root. I'm not a Gator fan, so I root for Florida schools, understanding that mine can never celebrate a real national title. But at the same time, I think that if Florida State went through 4 or 5 years of what they had to deal with last year, I think you'd have. Look, there was empty seats this year at some of the games against Wake Forest and some of the games.
There was
multiple.
That was my point. This year they didn't show up.
That's what, and that's what I mean is Miami is the epitome of that. The Miami Hurricanes will not show up when they're bad. When they had those years with Al Golden, who looked like a Chick-fil-A drive-thru attendant kind of guy. The guy didn't he look like the guy that wears the tie that's sweating, trying to get the fries, and is going to tables asking how was the service? Like that's what Al Golden looked like. He was always sweating. It was a suit that he had to take off, and the tie was sort of mangled. But he looked Al Golden. When the years of Randy Shinn and Al Golden, it was 60-70% capacity. There are some schools, like I said, Florida and most schools like Alabama, there are some schools that Nebraska, even during their 4-8, 5-7 years, there was not one empty seat in the stands. And there are some fan bases that are like that.
That's right. And you mentioned that
those should be the most passionate fans.
You mentioned Miami's lean years, and you said 60 or 70%. It wasn't anywhere near that.
No, it was
probably 25 to 30%.
But in the early 2000s, it was 100%.
When from Miami's week and they play a noon football game in the Eastern time zone, they get probably 20,000 people at the game.
Well, good Lord, it's like 150 degrees.
Remember, this is a small private school from Miami. They don't have that big a fan base. Most of them were just hangers-on from the city of Miami that want to cheer for a winner, and they did back in the days that Miami was dominant.
You also risk your life parking in Coral Gables.
That's true.
Some parts.
Yeah. Well, but
Little Havana.
The games aren't played in
Little Havana. I know. Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day when they were at Little Havana, right there where you'd park your car outside the stadium, and they weren't even played in. It was But the Little Havana
Orange Bowl is what they played in.
The old Orange Bowl right there in the Little Havana area was. I remember paying for a parking lot where the guy just was like, I said, "Is that where you park?" He said, "Yeah, sure." Yeah, that was his answer. And I was like, I do not think this guy owns a lot. But we needed to get to the game and get one of our arepa corn and cheese and get in there. But no, nowadays they play at Hard Rock, which is completely outside the city. And, just not a great college football atmosphere, really. It really isn't. But it's back in the day, those games, there were some parties.
Oh, sure.
The old Ted Hendricks signs you could pound on the side there.
75% of the fans weren't Miami grads. They just show up, and they'd go like, I'm cheering for a winner, and I'm going to throw things to the other team, and I'm going to get drunk, and I'm going to stage dive on the field. And
Nevin Shapiro boats afterwards.
Exactly.
And have some fun. We'll come back for more right here on the Sports Drive.
ESPN Pensacola 945 is locally owned by the ADX Communications Group. That includes News Radio 92.3 and AM 1620, Cat Country 98.7 and 1330 WEBY 99.1 FM. This means that we have the staff, the experience, and the generators to get you through the storm before, during, and after. We care, and we're ready because we're local. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Pensacola is loaded with famous athletes, and when it comes to seeing a chiropractor for their sports injuries, there is one team they trust, Doctors Edwin Roberts. A family tradition for 3 generations, Doctors Edwin Roberts Chiropractic, next to legendary fitness on Mobile Highway, has helped champion athletes like Emmett Smith and Trent Richardson. Doctors Roberts specialize in relieving auto accident pain to physicals for the student athlete. The best treatment for sports injuries is prevention. Call 912-4155 for a free consultation and change your life forever.
MWR welcomes Hunter Hayes to NAS Pensacola for the Air Force Reserve's Tour for the Troops, Friday, June 21st. Also appearing Brandon Ratcliffe and Jesse Ritter opening the show. Gates at 5:30. The show starts at 6:30 on the Portside Lawn at NAS Pensacola. Bring your lawn chairs and blankets. The show is free, but tickets are required. For ticket information, go to catcountry987.com. Presented by Kia Autosport, Pin Air Federal Credit Union, and MWR.
Attention all crab cake lovers, restaurants, organizations, and chefs. It's time to prove that you can make the best crab cakes once and for all. Register your team for the annual Crab Cake Cook-Off, sponsored by the kids' dentist, Dr. Stu Bonin, at Seville Quarter on Wednesday, July 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Be among 18 teams competing for the best crab cake bragging rights while supporting the Arc Gateway. For tickets and to become a sponsor, call Brittany at 434-2638 or visit arc-gateway.org.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hi, this is Thane Taylor from the Sleep Center. For over 20 years now, the Sleep Center has been known as Pensacola's mattress experts. But did you know that the Sleep Center is also Pensacola's adjustable bed, futon, cabinet bed, and beanbag experts? The Sleep Center opened in Pensacola in 1995 with the main goal of being the area's one-stop shop for all your bedding needs. Since then, we have become Pensacola's oldest and largest bedding superstore and have the highest Google rating of any store on the Gulf Coast. So if you want better sleep without all the fuss, come to the Sleep Center and leave the rest to us.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, with you right here on ESPN Pensacola.
Suddenly that turned into the theme from Pirates.
That's what I was about to say. All of a sudden, Jack Sparrow is going to jump out here. My days, get me some rum. That would be my character. You know, like the background cameo guys in movies.
You'd just be sitting there with a bottle of rum.
Let me be that guy. Like, okay, here's your script, sir. What I need to. What if you were that guy? There's enough bar scenes and Ray Donovan and all these shows and all that. What if your job was just known as the guy that stumbled out of the bar and would say, "Get me another brewski, Tommy," or something like that. That was all you did, and you were known as that guy. What a great job! And you got to play the part, really get into the character. You know, what sadly would happen.
Be a method actor and just get trashed.
That's all you did. Yeah, you just played a crackhead on the street.
Yeah, I remember at Disney World they had
good transition here.
Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Right, yeah.
And it was, oh ho, a pirate's day for me. And then so you get out of there going like, I need a beer, and then you don't have anything at Disney World. There's the Magic Kingdom doesn't have any booze, and so it's like, let's hightail it over to
Epcot. Yeah.
Epcot, exactly.
See, life has gone in a different direction where the small world actually creeps me out. We've seen enough movies where I feel like half of those things are going to like attack you in this ball. Especially the one you go through like the Indian Village where they fake spear you. They've got the harpoon spear and it's coming at you, and I'm like, I've seen enough movies where I'm about to. Yeah.
I don't trust the room at the end where like the final room where they're all together. They've got the hot air balloons that come down on top of you with the clowns in it.
Yeah.
They're hanging out, looking at you like, ah.
Yeah.
No,
that the koala baby on top of the koala mama after the kiwi.
The platypus.
Yeah, not having that. Not buying any of that. That whole world creeped me out. It's not a small world. It was a nightmare world for my dreams. My daughter loved it. Winnie Pooh, Winnie the Pooh with the honey. There was nothing, you can't.
Yeah, I remember. Do y'all remember Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
I did. Yes.
That I think they did away with that 20 years ago, but that to me that was one of the best.
Yeah. No, that was Mushroom World. Wild Ride. That wasn't part of the
ride.
Oh crap! That wasn't
Just
part of
tripping,
Mr.
but I
Toad's.
think it's a
Okay, I was
different
gonna
ride,
say.
yeah.
Oh, Mushrooms Wild Ride.
But
okay. That wasn't a ride. Never mind.
I think they probably updated the It's a Small World ride since 40 years ago. But I remember in the old days it was just like a bunch of purple styrofoam going like jumping out at you. It's like
extreme wild ride on the toadstool.
I could get this at the fair in Pensacola.
Yeah, no, a lot of it. Yeah, and I'm not going to sit through something more than even what's happened with the fast passes is they take 15 to 20 minutes. Like it's some of that stuff. And the
Turn
ones
it
that
slow pass.
Yeah, I can't do the teacup rides either. Just spin you around.
That makes you dizzy.
I don't get the fun of it. Get in. If you want, I'll go out and hightail you on Davis at a red light. And if you want to get.
I remember the first time my parents took me to Six Flags, and I got in like a teacup ride or something, and you got a teacup spinning one way, and then a platform under that thing spinning the opposite direction, and then it's all on this giant thing spinning, the opposite direction of that.
Extremely, yeah.
And I got so dizzy and disoriented, and ended up throwing up, and I couldn't enjoy the rest of the day.
No, you couldn't. And that's a good point. Do you think Kawhi Leonard is going to be able to rebound and get the team in the right direction in game 3?
It's possible. It's possible. Really, I think Boogie Cousins was a huge factor in game 2. He was able to make some moves inside, score some points, a rebound, and really, was great assisting players with. I heard a stat that every basket made by Golden State in the second half was assisted.
Yes, it was 22 of 22. James Harden was very shocked. He was like,
incredible.
How does this happen? Wait. You have to pass the ball. You're saying you have to throw it to the other guy to get. Wow, that's amazing. You 22 times happened. What do you? Yeah. So I have to. Whoa, bro! I have to give up the basketball, and then do I get it back? No, they shoot. Nah. 22 times happened. It's a good drinking game for. It's a small world. No, not on Toad's Wild Ride. It's not. Don't do teacups and drink. But when it comes down to you get to select if you're out there in college, if you're listening, whatever you want a fun drinking game for tomorrow's game. You pick DeMarcus Cousins, and somebody else gets Draymond Green. And every time they give you a what I didn't foul him, that kind of bitter beer face, the Keystone Light face, you have to drink. So based on the minutes played, you're probably going to get more drunk with Draymond Green. But it's a good game because, like, anytime they touch the ball, you get that face. What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? Like, now the combination of both of them,
it's a good game to play if you don't want to watch the second half because you're out at halftime. I mean,
exactly.
Steph Curry does it too, but it's more smug and he grabs the mouthpiece and it just looks weird. But those two will give you the faces that you just, if you're the ref, you want a team. See, I would be the ref that the refs in the NBA are so bad that I would probably suck in my whistle if it was one that I knew I did something wrong. But the ones that clearly are like he mauls the guy going up for a layup and he's like, like in your face, I'd be like, you're done. I've had enough of this. Like, you just ran over the guy like an elephant stampeding a circus, and you're going to get mad at that? Like, the ones that clearly are, he smacks him across the arm, like, and then they get all like, bam, get off, go to the locker room, we're done here. I would not have patience for the nonsense of that.
Yeah. And really, basketball is, to me, it's the most difficult professional sport or college sport to officiate because there's just so much action. There's so many moving parts. You've got to watch 10 players at once, and you can't see every elbow or every grab, and it's happening so fast. It's hard discern contact hand on hand, and it's just a really, really difficult sport.
Apparently, it's the Kentucky Derby is the toughest one too.
Kentucky Derby this year turned into one that was very, very difficult.
Apparently,
but all professional sports are. I mean, is there a play that goes on in the NFL without holding? Probably not.
No, or a pass interference in New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. And really, baseball should be a pretty, good game to officiate fairly.
Unless you're Eric Gregg.
Unless you're Eric Gregg, exactly. I was going.
And then Karma got that. That's probably mean to
1998,
say. That's
Eric Gregg.
He did pass away.
Ruined the Atlanta Braves season. The Braves were the best team in baseball, and he rung up people on balls.
And then died of a heart attack.
He died of a heart attack. But
I don't know if that was related at all. But I mean,
there's some some pretty well substantiated rumors that Eric Gregg had been kind of nabbed by
the mob,
organized crime.
Well, that's going to get to your heart. I bet there was a little stress on there. Fred McGriff, the crime dog,
but he came through for him.
Yeah,
I mean, he came through for him, and
that one that bounced in the dirt about 5 played off the plate. Jeff, I believe we have to send it out to the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. It is 6:31. Jeff, if you'd like, we can continue to have this conversation off of the air. Let's continue to have a fun conversation.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you. Sounds good to me. Crockpot chicken for everybody. Thanks for bringing it, Jordan. For
Jordan.
all of us here, guys, for Jeffrey D., for Jordan Glass, Lene Kakua, Manti Te'o's girlfriend. I love you, sweetie. I'm Chad Brillante. Have a great rest of your night. Enjoy some Blue Wahoos baseball with Chris Garagiola, and God bless.
When Jamie Stevens got out of the Navy in